We got major World War III news that we need to cover, friends. We got a lot of stuff happening over in the Middle East right now. We got the Israeli Defense Forces just quietly called up a reserve brigade, and the timing is truly crazy. And we have imminent major airstrikes that are going to be happening anytime now. As of the shooting this video, they have not started, but we got airlines out there canceling flights to Beirut like nobody's business. We got multiple countries, a whole bunch of countries coming out of the woodwork saying, get out now to all of its citizens in Lebanon still. We got a lot of things. We got North Korea popping off. We got a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we cover on this channel what's going on out there in the world that you're not going to hear in the mainstream media, not in this depth, and a lot of times they're always out there pushing their agendas, aren't they? If you're familiar with this channel, you know that one of our sponsors is Genesis Gold Group. A lot of you guys have talked to them already. Some of you don't have retirement accounts, and that is what it is. But if you have a retirement account, right now might be a good idea to get out of stocks and bonds. Particularly if you're in retirement, you can pivot over to physical metals, and then you can take the distributions out of the bank. Instead of getting cash from your investments, what you're doing is you're actually getting the metals delivered to you. Jonathan and his team have done a fantastic job for a lot of folks in this community. If you have questions, you can just ask them. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. All right, so the Israeli-Lebanon conflict has reached a critical point in which tensions are just continuing to rapidly escalate due to the rocket attack on the soccer field in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights. Now, it is interesting, some of the facts that we're finding out about that. Apparently, the folks there are not Israeli citizens. They've denied receiving Israeli citizenship. They chose not to. They're part of the Druze community. They consider themselves to be Syrian citizens. Interesting. But that rocket attack did result in the tragic loss of 12 children and teenagers at the soccer field. The Israeli government, led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has vowed to retaliate against Hezbollah, and that's what everyone's freaking out about right now. And we're going to go into why everyone sees this coming and what's going to happen next. So even though they're consider themselves to be Syrian, they are being retaliated against, for by the Israeli government. And you're going to see how convenient this is. Not that the Israeli government would want anyone to die, but this is convenient for the Israeli government. They are up against a hard deadline. By August 31st, they need to move into Lebanon. And I've talked about this before in previous videos, but we're gonna talk about why they have a deadline and why they need to move forward with this. So Netanyahu has vowed to retaliate against Hezbollah, which is the Iranian-backed militia groups in Lebanon, not the Lebanese army. So in response to the escalating situation, the Israeli Security Cabinet held an emergency meeting just yesterday and discussed the military responses against Hezbollah. The meeting of the Israeli Security Council ended after 3 hours of intense debates. And what was the solution? What did they come to the conclusion of? They decided to allow and authorize Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Gallant make the final decisions regarding a retaliatory strike. So they basically gave them a blank check. Now, as soon as this conflict is over, Netanyahu is out of the government. They're going to get rid of him. They're going to Winston Churchill him. Netanyahu knows that his political career lasts as long as the conflict does. And the war cabinet just basically gave him a blank check to do whatever he wants to do. Can you see any problems with this? Almost certainly he is going to launch such a massive attack on Lebanon that it's going to provoke a massive retaliatory strike by Hezbollah and other Iranian groups, potentially, that is going to provoke Israel and give it the justification to invade Lebanon. That's like what's going to happen. So it is a major shift in Israel's approach to the conflict. They've basically just greenlit the war hawk to make this happen. Now, we've received, we talked about this yesterday, we talked about that Israeli media is out there saying, hey, we got the go-ahead, we got the green light from the United States and our European allies to go ahead into Lebanon. We got the British Navy fast sailing into the Eastern Mediterranean. The United States does not have carriers, has helicopter carriers in that region, but does not have a nuclear power carrier. The closest one we have is in the Persian Gulf, right off the coast of Iran. I believe that's the Roosevelt. Governments of France, Norway, Belgium, Sweden, and Saudi Arabia, just in the last few hours, have called on their citizens to immediately depart Lebanon, while commercial flights are still operational. On the other hand, we're also getting a tick, tick, tick of airlines canceling all their flights to Beirut, Lebanon. Turkish Airlines, Air France, KLM, Lufthansa, I can't pronounce that. Ethiopian Airlines, they've canceled all their flights to Lebanon because Israel is about to punch Lebanon in the teeth. This is from an apparent leak from the French government. The Lebanese media is now reporting that the Israeli government has notified France and other allies that they intend to launch a series of significant and broad strikes against Hezbollah targets. Where? And this is the new one. So not only is it going to be significant and broad, they're going to hit a whole bunch of targets. In the suburbs of Beirut, in the capital city of Lebanon. Like I said, this is militia. The Lebanese government is afraid of the militias, and the Lebanese army can't really stand up to Hezbollah. But Hezbollah does kind of stay kind of out of the way and kind of lets people believe that the Lebanese army is still in charge. Well, they're going to start doing massive airstrikes on the capital of Lebanon. They haven't seen this type of explosions since the port explosion years ago. It's going to be hitting Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Quds Force, that's Iranian, in northern Lebanon, and also in Syria. So they're going to hit Lebanon, northern Lebanon, Beirut, not just southern Lebanon like they've been doing recently, and they're going to go into Syria as well. They're going to take this out on Iranian forces on the ground pretty hard. Now, they've been doing a little bit of that back and forth, but they're saying they're going to do a whole bunch. Now, Mal Yosef Regional Council and several other councils in northern Israel have told residents to remain near bomb shelters tonight and to avoid all non-essential gatherings or travel around the northern communities. Stay close to home, stay close to the bomb shelter. Directives by the IDF Home Front Command are also going out. Also, the Israeli military has put out an urgent call for medical volunteers of Israel, for general surgeons, thoracic surgeons, trauma surgeons, and anesthesiologists, for anesthesia, to assist hospitals in the north of the country. Wait a minute. They're not going to Lebanon because the airstrikes. They're preparing to go up to northern Israel because they're expecting massive troop casualties. We've talked about this before. They have put hospitals in the north of Israel on alert. Now they are asking for more medical personnel to move up there because they're expecting to have mass casualties. Now, Israel has quietly activated the 228th Reserve Brigade of the Northern Command. Now, we talked about this, that they had to activate a whole bunch of reserve units, and they had to move up a bunch of equipment before they can get in place to actually launch their assault on southern Lebanon. Now, they activated quietly the 228th Reserve Brigade of the Northern Command. When? Last Wednesday. Basically, as Netanyahu was delivering this wasn't in response to the rocket attack. This was quietly done basically at the same time that Netanyahu is giving his speech to Congress in the United States. Kind of convenient, isn't it? So why now? This is the crux of it. Why now? And why am I saying August 31st? And let me explain. And this is what my video back on June 10th was talking about. In a statement delivered at the Lebanese border this morning, but this is back June 5th, Prime Minister Netanyahu warned that Israel is prepared for an extremely powerful action in the north. Have we seen that? Nope, haven't seen anything like that. June 4th, the Israeli Defense Force Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Haveli, said that Israel is close to making a decision regarding Hezbollah's daily attacks in northern Israel amid the Gaza war. And we heard Netanyahu said very clearly, though he didn't talk long about it in his address to Congress, he said very clearly, we're going to take action to get people back in their homes in northern Israel. He said it, we're going to do whatever is necessary. Here comes the August 31st. As tensions ramped up along the northern border, June 5th, the government raised the number of reservists the IDF is authorized to call up in case of need to 350,000. They authorized the calling up of 350,000 reservists. All Netanyahu has to do is push the button. Once he pushes the button, the clock starts ticking. And he has political pressures to have to justify why he's pushing the button. According to the copy of the decision published by the Army Radio's Shahar Glick, the decision will remain in effect until August 31st. He's already got his authorization. He just has to hit the button. And that does expire, and he's going to have to get authorization again from the Knesset after August 31st. So expect that button to be pressed before then. And he's already quietly activated one brigade of reservists, and they're getting into position. Expect the other reserve units to be called into action soon. Hezbollah, we also had another incident where Hezbollah kamikaze drone was intercepted on its way to the Karish gas fields. This is a major offshore natural gas facility and rigs and stuff like that. Hezbollah from Lebanon launched airborne drones against these things. They were intercepted by an Israeli warship equipped with Sea Dome, which is basically the Iron Dome on ocean, right? Not only that, but we have other countries weighing in on things. Turkey's President Erdogan, who has taken a hard shift towards the conservative, and that's not in the good sense here. We're talking about hardline Muslim conservatives. He has threatened to invade Israel in support of the Palestinians. Let's hear his words. We must be very strong so that Israel can't do these things to Palestine, said Erdogan. Just as we entered Azerbaijan, just as we entered Libya, we might do the same to them. There is nothing we can't do. We must only be strong. Now, can Turkey follow through on that threat? No, it really can't. I don't see a way that it really can. They have a border dispute with Greece. They can't get through Syria because Syria doesn't want them in there. So Turkey is not about to ally itself with Syria in order to attack Israel. if anything along those lines takes place, if any kind of peace treaty or any kind of olive branch passes between Assad, who Erdogan has said has to go, and Erdogan, if they make any sort of peace so that Turkish troops can move through Syria, that will be a whole different story. U.S. NATO weaponry given to Turkey being used against Israel would be a total abomination, just like we've seen recently. All right, moving east, there was an apparent underground nuclear test in North Korea after an earthquake was registered near their nuclear test site. South Korea has been warning recently that North Korea could conduct a surface test as a show of force and to influence the U.S. election. Also, North Korea has attempted recent ICBM tests. They are still unable to figure out how to get an ICBM to re-enter the atmosphere without exploding and burning up and stuff like that. So far, we're still safe unless they get some Russian scientists in there to explain it to them. I don't know. Maybe they're making it out of styrofoam still. I don't know. But so far, they haven't been able to figure out how to re-enter any of these vehicles from orbit, essentially. On a positive note, hey, look, we have some positive notes out here. Bangladesh apparently is going to restore the country's mobile internet late Sunday. So we haven't received word yet whether that has taken place or not, but that is the word out there that they're going to restore telecommunications. That was after a full week nationwide blackout imposed due to contain the deadly unrest. Now, when that internet gets switched back on, we're probably going to see a whole bunch of videos uploaded from the citizens of Bangladesh on what has transpired this past week. Stuff that we haven't seen because they haven't had internet to communicate. They were under shoot-on-site lockdown orders. I mean, it was like cough, cough in China kind of bad. Welding people into their room, into their dormitories and stuff like that, and apartment buildings. Absolutely insane. All right, friends, if you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there on the screen. Just tap it, fill out your information. All right, friends, I will see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.